sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said to his companion Muadh. So let's, for example, say this is Muadh. So he said to his companion Muadh, he said he was sending him to a place called Yemen. All right, so Yemen is like the bottom shoe of Saudi Arabia. What is below that? So this is area of Yemen, and he was going to send him all the way from here, from Medina to Yemen. So now he gave Muadh some advice. He said to Muadh, he said, what are you gonna use for your rulings? So Muadh said, I will use, and this was his response. Okay, now listen to his response. His response was, I'm going to use the Book of Allah. Number one, Quran. And Prophet ﷺ said, okay, what are you going to use if you don't find the answer in the Quran? In other words, you might not find an explicit answer in the Quran. Then what? He said, I'm going to use the Sunnah. He goes, what if you don't find it in the Sunnah? He said, I'm going to use my understanding. And he called this ijtihad. Yeah, and the Prophet ﷺ became happy and he approved of it. Like, he ticked him off. He certified him and said, excellent, this is exactly what I've trained you to do. Right? So Muadh radiallahu anh, he goes to Yemen, and he's in Yemen for a while, and every time a problem comes to him, like some issue, for example, like rubbing of the limbs, the way he's going to deal with it is, he's going to look at what the Quran says. He's going to look at, if it's not in the Quran, what the Sunnah says. And if he doesn't find in the Quran and Sunnah, he's going to do his ijtihad. But he has to have, out of all of this, he has to have, like we said, a method. Right? He needs to have a method. And we said this method was the usool, the principles. The method was the usool, the principles that he's going to use. And these principles, if we look at, Muadh is one Sahabi, but imagine we had other companions, other Sahaba. So for example, like we had Muadh, we had Ibn Mas'ud, we had Umar, we had Aisha, we had let's say Ibn Abbas, and so forth. Many companions, and all of these companions were using some sort of methodology that they had. Right? Each one of them had methodology, had approaches of how they would try to come out with an answer. So these methodologies, right, they were being passed on to their students now. Right? They were being passed on to their students, and these students of theirs are what we call the tabi'een. Right? So they are passing them down to the tabi'een.